Phantom of the Vegan Flatland here, and this is the next series of deconstructing the deconstruction zone, the next series of exposing pseudoscience. Now, the next excuse of Justin using evolution, we already covered varves. That was another con. The next pseudoscience con is, and I'm not an expert in any of these things, but just a cursory knowledge of these things that just don't make no sense. Now, his next thing is, from what I can remember, is retroviruses. Now, I mean, retroviruses are an even worse excuse for evolution and than other nonsense. It's awful. Okay, retrovirus. I mean, just think about the word retrovirus. I mean, is finding the same DNA in, say, an ape and a human being evidence for evil lies? Of course not. It just all it is both a gorilla and a human need that certain type of, let's call it, DNA. That's all. Simple answer debunks all that shit that he just says. He keeps saying retroviruses. He goes from varves to retroviruses. Those have both are absolute nonsense. If you're using that to prove evolution, you got nothing. You got nothing. Okay. Evil lies are always lies and they always fail. I mean, even some research, not a lot, but some research, because remember, research costs money and it costs grants, but some research has shown that, some DNA sequences actually, believed to be ERVs actually have some, how would you call it, positive functions, you know, like placenta in mammals, certain animals, and some humans. To say you find the same DNA uh, apparatus in apes or, say, another animal, it doesn't confirm evil lies whatsoever. It just shows you that you saying an ape or another animal, you name it, need that certain DNA to operate. That's all that means. And maybe in the future, when there's more research, we can find functions for what DNA, say DNA sequences that were, you know, set aside as, junk DNA in general, ERVs. So that doesn't prove, it doesn't prove evil lies, not whatsoever, not at all. That's absolute total nonsense. I mean, retroviruses are, what are they? Think about it. Retroviruses are just viruses that infect, certain cells, and they put their genes into the genome of the whatever the host cell is. They're called retroviruses, but they carry that certain genetic type of information in the form of what scientists call RNA. Okay. I mean, and what's the best known, say, one? I would say it's AIDS. That's another hoax, by the way. If you look at my past videos, I've already talked about that. But wink, wink, another government created hoax. So once again, these are not evidence for evil lies. Not at all. Not at all. I mean, white blood cells result in life-threatening diseases like AIDS. Any claim about ERVs as evidence for evil lies is believed by not evidence, but faith. Faith. So you can't make fun of Christians, which I'm not a Christian, if you are talking about faith too, because it's all faith based, not on any observation, none whatsoever. You got no observation, you got faith. So that takes care of retroviruses. So now that Justin has been debunked on retroviruses, he's been debunked on VARVs, he's got nothing. Okay? He's got nothing. Because it's the bottom line. Finding the same DNA in an ape or you watching this is not evidence for evil lies. It never has been and it never will be. I mean, indigenous just means, coming from the same or growing within a same, say, living organism. I don't know what it's supposed to become endogenous when it's put into the egg or what, a sperm maybe, and it's put in, passed on to the next line or generation or whatever. And that's where that thing ends. So, but I also want you, okay, leave me your comments, leave me your suggestions in the comments section. If you agree with what I just said, or if you disagree with what I said, just still leave me a comment, okay? Leave me a comment and tell me exactly what you think. Because I've made it perfectly clear. I'll say it again. Evolution is a tiny grain of truth and a sack full of garbage lies. Okay? It's just new immunities, I'll say, and basic heredity. Hey, my dad was short. I'm short. My dad's going to be bald. I'll be bald. Genes. That's all it is. Okay. It doesn't make entirely novel features. It doesn't create entirely new novel features, whatever you want to call it. And hey, macroevolution is a total lie. Absolute lie. When they say macroevolution, just put the word lie next to it, okay? Pseudoscience lie. No organism, if I'm using the term correctly, organism has ever, think about it, has ever produced what? Offspring other than its own kind? Never. None of these things are observable. All these things are based in faith. So if you believe these things, then I call you now a Christian because you also have faith. Okay? Just like the spinning cult nonsense that we're spinning in every single direction at 666,000 miles an hour. Look it up. It says 666. What are the odds it's that number? So, not observable. None of it's observable. So that's where we're at. This is the Phantom. Out.